Good morning, everyone. I felt like I wanted to come on here this morning to just talk with you a little bit about what I do in my full workshop. So typically I offer my Full to Fulfilled workshop in an in-person setting where people come, they get to share parts of their story, they get to hear others' experiences, there's a sense of connection, there's a sense of normalcy to some of the things that they're feeling, and I also get to share pieces of my story. My workshop is actually as much about my growth and my healing as it is about serving others. By me sharing my story, it provides inspiration to others. It allows them to see me for who I am, not as somebody who is an expert or who has everything figured out, because I don't. I got a few things figured out, but I'm still on this journey. I'm still every single day doing my best, learning, finding tools, practicing, and trying to grow as much as I can. I still have setbacks. I still have days where I struggle. I still have outbursts. I still have situations where I don't handle it as well as I know I can. But when I reflect back on the last 5 years of my life, I can say there's been significant improvements to how I manage myself, to how I cope and deal with change and with fear and with anxiety and with depression. Because what I've come to kind of accept is that depression for me is a symptom. It's a sign that my body is sending me. When my mood is low and my energy is low and I find that I feel very irritable and I feel like I'm stuck and I'm constantly getting trapped in my mind, thinking and overanalyzing and stressing and worrying about things and planning, and that kind of trap gets me stuck in the mud of my depression and anxiety. So about 4 years ago now, I was able to come off of medication that I had been on and off of for nearly 17 years. And when I say on and off, it's because if you've ever been someone who has experienced any kind of mental wellness challenge, you know that when you're given a medication, it makes you feel better. That's what it's supposed to do. It makes you feel better. It makes you able to come out of the hole that you're in and see some light. But when you see that light and you see it over and over and over, you start to think that you don't need the medication anymore because you feel so much better. And so then what my pattern was that once I started to feel better and things started to go better, I felt like I had control. I felt like I had control, but it was not real control. It was the medication. And so then I would come off of it. And then for a while I'd be fine. And then something would happen in my life and I wouldn't know how to cope with it. And it would send me spiraling back. And it was never usually for me like a massive quick spiral. It was a slow gradual where things just became more difficult to manage and I felt like I had no control over myself. Not necessarily over external situations. I didn't really recognize that, but I felt like I had no control over myself. And so then I would go back to the doctor and I would tell them, and they would, right away write me a prescription and put me back on the pills. Never was anybody ever to take the time to really dig into things with me, to really give me any tools. I did some counseling. I seen psychiatrists and psychologists, and sure, they all give you little nuggets of things to work on. But I don't feel like anybody really helped me get to the root of what was causing me to feel that way, what those feelings really meant to me, and what was a daily practice that I could take on that would help me learn to cope with those feelings and to cope with the way that my body was responding to those feelings. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not claiming that anybody should stop taking their pills, especially when you're struggling. The pills for me were the ability to see the light. They were a bridge to help me see that there was another option. However, when you get stuck in the trap of just taking the pills and not doing any of the work, then you get stuck on the bridge and you feel trapped on the bridge because you're not able to see a life on the other side without the pills, and you're not able to see the life of living with the pills forever, because sure, they make you feel better, but they also make you feel like you're trapped because you're not able to really feel and experience. It numbs a lot of the emotional experience that's going on inside of us. And the truth is that that's the truest essence of you communicating. Your feelings, your emotions, your energetic experience inside of your body is unique to you, and it's your experience of life. And when we take something, whether it's medication or whether it's another substance, right? Like alcohol, drugs, food, sex, shopping, gambling, all of those kinds of things are addictive type behaviors, but they have the same effect. They numb. They numb us to what's going on inside. They allow us to hide, but they keep us stuck. Because inside is all of the information, all of the signals that you need to attend to so that you can heal and you can grow and you can achieve the things that you feel passionate about, the things that you want your life to involve, that you want to bring into your life. So I actually had zero intention of even talking about this when I sat down, but I think it's relevant because my workshop that I teach, right? That's where I started when I came on here, it's called Full to Fulfilled because it's designed for women who have a full life. They have everything that they thought they needed. They have all their ducks lined up, right? They did everything, all the check boxes are checked as far as what they needed to do to have this happy and fulfilled life. But yet, it still feels like something is missing. It still has this nagging weight of something like a hole, like there's a piece missing. And when I talk about those ducks being lined up, I always say, like, you've got all your ducks lined up, but it feels like there's one missing. Well, that duck is you. And what happens is that we push that duck so far down on the list of priorities that we don't give it any attention, but it's crying out for our attention. It's screaming and crying and sending you all sorts of information, all sorts of signals in your body in the form of emotions, in the form of thought patterns, in the form of behaviors, but we don't attend to it. We ignore it, we try to push it down because we don't have time to deal with it or we don't know how, and we have too many other things that we think are the priority, and so we stuff ourselves down, and then when it becomes too much to bear, we look for things to numb it, right? We go to the doctor, we get prescriptions for depression and for anxiety. We drink. We smoke weed. Maybe other drugs. We eat. These are all things that people do to hide, to continue hiding. Right now, our world has sent us this massive shock because on a regular day-to-day basis, it's easy for us to hide. It's easier for us to hide from that screaming inside that wants you to pay attention. But when we're stuck at home and we have all the triggers hitting us at once, it's very hard to hide. And so the social impact of what's happening right now to everyone is huge. Because if we're not able to hide, we're going to look to substances, we're going to look to medication to help us hide. So right now is not the time to hide. It's the time to feel everything that's going on inside of you. Allow it. Allow yourself to feel what you need to feel. The healing only begins when you allow yourself, when you take the pause and listen to the signals, to the information, to the feelings and emotions that are churning and moving inside of you, to the energy that's moving inside of you. When you take time and you listen to the thoughts that are running on a loop in your mind, and when you take time to reflect and look at some of the actions that you take, some of the patterns of behavior that you are engaging in on a regular basis, this is the time to allow, not hide. I feel so strongly about this because I know for years of my life I hid because it was easier, and it was actually the only option I knew. I didn't know that there was something else I could do to make myself feel better, to come out of the hole without the help of a substance. But the key is allowing yourself to feel it, to pausing before you go to the cupboard and pull out the bag of chips, before you pour that next glass of wine, is to pause and say, what if I just allowed myself to feel what's going on right now? What if I just allowed it? It's not easy because you're hiding pain, and nobody wants to feel pain. In fact, our mind's job is to protect us from feeling pain. And so it sends us these cravings and these desires to try to find something to mask it, to numb it, to keep us in that little comfort zone box. Because looking at our wounds, looking at our traumas, looking at our pain hurts, and it's hard. So of course we hide from it. But the only way to move past it is to allow it to move through you, to allow yourself to feel it, and then let it go. I know this sounds like a very simplistic way of putting things, and it is, but it's not easy. It takes a dedicated effort every moment of the day with a lot of setbacks and a lot of triggers that will challenge you and push you to practice these things and to practice allowing yourself to feel and letting it go. This is something I coach in my program. My workshop, Full to Fulfilled, is about women who have a full life but don't feel fulfilled. So instead of looking to something else, let's look within. And if you need some help, I'm right here. I'm right here, and I'm ready to listen, to see you and hear you, and help guide you to where it is you want to go. That's what I do. I wish you nothing but the best, all of you. Nothing but love and peace. And for this challenge to evolve, because I know on the other side of it is what we all need if you just allow it. So please don't hesitate. I'm here. Reach out. I'm a text message or a Facebook message or an email away. Have a great day. I thought I was done, but this topic hits.
my heart. Because I know what it's like to struggle with this. I know what it's like to feel trapped, to feel stuck. And is my truest heart's desire to help anyone who is struggling. I don't want to see people suffer in this way. You deserve everything you want. Everything you dream for your life. Every way you dream of feeling in your life, you deserve. Know that. Okay, I think I'm done now. Have a great day.